Did you see?
Any needs,
Bloke
master?
literally dropped dead.
Blind drunk.
But yeah, that dude's dead. Do you just call him blind drunk? I mean, it's not. I suppose it's not wrong per se.
Cat eyes. Mark of the devil.
Ah, damn.
Mark of the devil. Yup. Yup. Okay. I don't think there's anything else for us to do here, though. I don't think we can actually, like, investigate. Well, I mean, we know what happened there, right? We know what happened. Now, it's saying that it is optional to talk to Shawnee. Now, I imagine we probably do want to do that, of course. Let's see. So this is Shawnee. Whereas the temple they're talking about is... Oh! Down here. Interesting. I mean, we definitely did go there at one point in time. There was... One of these places was where we found those dudes that were hiding in that cave system. They said they were being tracked down, hunted down by a bunch of wyverns, and we were like 10 levels too low to do it. And we left them there, hiding from the wyverns for like 2 or 3 months. And then we did come back, and they were still alive, and we did successfully take out those wyverns, but that's interesting to see that I think this is the same place, or very close to it. It's one of these 2 entrances here, where that was. So, I mean, this is... If you consider how basically everything in the DLC was up in this northeast corner here, or Oxenfurt, maybe a tiny bit directly in Novigrad, though I'm not even sure if there was. For us to suddenly be back in Velen, it's a little out of the ordinary. But anyways, I think we should probably talk to Shawnee first. That's a good point, yeah. Ciri can travel through time and space, but not necessarily control it, so I think if you consider that, then it is probably still the closest thing you can do to compare to what Gaunter just did, but definitely a good distinction there that separates Gaunter from Ciri. Ciri able to travel through time and space, but Gaunter actually able to directly control it, which is different. And presumably much more difficult, much more powerful. So let's say before we talk to Shawnee here. Now we did, of course, last we saw Shawnee, I believe, was at the end of the wedding, right? When we did have a bit of a moment with her. But I was a little bit concerned about that because I made a comment at the time about how, sure, you guys were saying, like, Yen doesn't care, it's no big deal. Yeah, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we should have done that. Because, you know, as much as I do like Shawnee, I don't think we should really be, you know, like, pursuing two serious relationships simultaneously. We gotta be a loyal companion to Yen. Did I say Triss before? Yen, obviously. But, gotta be loyal to Yen, and not, you know, like, cheat on her whenever we get the chance to do so. And, you know, that's not really fair to Shawnee either. You know, like, Shawnee basically said to us, hey, I'm looking for a life partner, and we're not really in a... Excuse me. We're having this deep discussion, and then you walk up directly behind us with a torch, trying to burn the back of our neck? Like, not cool, man. Just keep on walking. That's right, keep on walking. That's what I said. That's what I said. Anyways, what I was saying was basically, Shawnee has also said that she is looking for basically a full-time life partner type situation, and I don't think we can do that. You know, we have Yen, and Yen is our partner in crime, and we collectively are the parental figures for Ciri. Like, we basically have a family. So, you know, to suddenly try to launch into this whole relationship with Shawnee is not the right thing to do. You know, again, maybe we can do it. Doesn't mean we should do it, though. Both because it's disloyal to Yen and Ciri, and also because Shawnee deserves better, frankly. Shawnee, if she's looking for a life partner, deserves someone who can be her life partner and not someone who is, like, cheating on their significant other and abandoning their adopted daughter in order to have a relationship with this person. So that's why, to give you all that context, if this sort of starts taking off from where we left off and Shawnee starts putting on the moves, then that probably means that we will not try to take things any further with Shawnee. And, you know, basically, my goal would be, if we can be Shawnee's wingman, set Shawnee up, find Shawnee a great person to hang out with and be with, then awesome, but I just don't think that person is really us. For all the aforementioned reasons. That being said, that won't stop us from stealing Shawnee's possessions. Is she downstairs again, or she's down? Okay. Seems like all the chests in here basically got restashed. So let's just take a quick look up here. No. She is up there. Oh, for some reason I thought that marker was pointing down. In that case, I don't remember how much stuff is down here. I think it's quite small, right? Let's give it a quick look. Just that candle to put out. Alright. Doesn't seem like there's much of anything, so let's actually chat. So, Shawnee, what did you want to speak about?
Shawnee.
Oh, Geralt. Good thing you're here.
Hmm? Go on.
What happened? Somebody break in?
This? No. Just getting ready to move.
Oh?
What? When? Where to?
Not what I wanted to talk to you about. Or at least not only, but... I'm leaving, Geralt. The Eastern Front beckons. I'm Kedwin bound.
I mean, that's what you want to do. Then good for you. She's always been very proactive about wanting to be on, well, the front lines and helping people, but is Kedwin really that place? Because I thought Nilfgaard had already taken Kedwin relatively early on, and so I had kind of assumed that that was firmly Nilfgaardian territory at this age. And then again, when Nilfgaard retreated, I don't really know where that left the place formerly known as Kedwin. Basically, I just thought Kedwin was already conquered. But why so sudden, I suppose? This is, yeah, the first we're hearing of it, and the first we're hearing of it is, I've already made up my mind and I'm going.
Never mentioned you'd be moving. Any intention to either.
I didn't know I would be. Found out this morning. 2 soldiers came to my door, said Redania needs me again.
Couldn't turn
Okay.
it down. Just say no.
Perhaps I could have. But I didn't want to. Treating the ill and wounded, it's my calling. No place I'm needed more than at the front.
Fair enough. Oh, I mean, can't say no to her. She just said it's her calling. You want us to say, no, actually, sorry, Shawnee, I don't think it's your calling. We think that, actually you should stay here just to spend time with us, even though we have a relationship with Yen and we have an adopted daughter that we are supposed to be trying to help. We're gonna try to have a illegitimate relationship with you, and we're gonna force you to stay here against your will and not do the thing that you just said that you feel like you're destined to do out of pure greed and selfishness. Yeah, no thanks. Do your thing, Shawnee.
I understand. Any chance we'll see each other again?
Someday, I'm sure.
Okay. So, I mean, of course, good to check in and know about this. Just to stay tuned with, just to be a good friend to Shawnee. It's important stuff. But, I mean, at least it was kind of strange that this was technically tied to the main quest. So I assume there is some kind of connection here. Did you learn anything about Olgierd?
So, learn anything about Olgierd?
Well, I abandoned the books quickly. Decided that if I was going to learn the truth, I'd need to find someone who knows it.
Oh, go on.
Find anyone?
Turned out I didn't need to look far. A colleague at the academy, an assistant to Professor Pramathine Shakeslock, claims
Shakeslock?
Olgierd von Everett met with the professor multiple times. Apparently, Olgierd asked the professor to do some research. Professor got so worked up doing it, he went daffy. Started jealously guarding his notes. Wouldn't even let his assistant look at them.
Probably the dark
Professor,
magic that
where'll I find him?
Olgierd
Here
was
in
experimenting with.
Oxford, cloistered inside his house on academy grounds. Mage hunters guard his door.
Ah, we have... I was wondering for the longest time, there was the actual Oxford Academy area that we went to a long time ago. There were no doors that we could actually go through. There was one little, like, piece of paper we picked up on the ground that gave us a description that sounded like it was going to give us a quest, but then it didn't. But it just seemed like this, not huge, but relatively significant area that didn't come to anything. So I thought, yeah, there's got to be some moments when we're going to come back here and have some specific purpose in this location. And it seems like this might be just that. And I do think we saw some mage hunters loitering around there.
Mage hunters at the door. He under house arrest?
I can't say, really. Some of the faculty think him a traitor. Say he sold out to the hunters for a hefty pouch of gold. The assistant, on the other hand, insists the professor wants him there to protect him. I don't know what from.
What's your guess?
He's certainly useful to them. A specialist in black magic.
You didn't say black magic in the
Must be
occult, but yes,
trove
that's
of
what I was
knowledge.
expecting.
If he's really gone off his nutter, I wouldn't be surprised to see them using him.
Yeah, so basically, I'm guessing that the deal is that this guy did a lot of the research for Olgierd about how to perform the various, basically, like, you know, black magic rituals that Olgierd did. Potentially including the ones that helped him bring Gonser Odim, summon him to make the kind of deal that started this whole thing. And also potentially the one that, in which he summoned Iris's companions, although that's probably, comparatively speaking, less significant. But also did look like that was a dark magic ritual of some variety. But we would, yeah, like to see this professor.
Need to talk to this professor.
We'll go together.
Oh!
Redanian guards all over
You don't
the
need to go
academy.
immediately?
Doubt you'll get in alone.
Guards have never
Okay.
stopped me. You know that.
Wound these, and I'll have to patch them up. Besides,
Alright,
we might run
if
into
you
a
say
friend.
so.
Get inside free and easy.
Okay, and I am happy to see that we get the chance to spend a little more time with Shawnee. That would have felt a little unceremonious. Professor Shakeslock. Or it's not Shake or Wobble Scimitar or Quiver Pike. But yeah, I'm glad that we do get the chance to spend a little more time with Shawnee before she heads out, because, you know, that would feel a little bit odd if she's like, oh, yeah, you know, I have this place I need to go to. I need to go right away, and then it was just like, okay, now we're never going to see you again. Kind of like when Triss left to go to Kovir. If we never saw her again and she was like, all right, I'm gone now. See you later. That would have felt a little strange as well.
These days.
You mean since Radovid shut it down?
I mean, is it well guarded?
Might be all it is. Many of the faculty fled to the far north. The braver ones stayed, but assumed the guises of tailors and laundresses. Why?
Just curious. Scholars seem to have adopted mage tactics. They in the same bind? So the Eastern Front, and then?
Depends where they send me.
Oh,
Wherever it is,
Did we-
take care of yourself.
Always do. So don't worry.
I was gonna say, we were going maybe a little too fast there, because it seemed like, I don't know if I technically cut off one of those conversations and went straight into another one, because they were talking about the scholars, and then suddenly just took what seemed to be a kind of dramatic transition into Johnny going to the Eastern Front, which didn't really seem like those were related topics. But maybe, for whatever reason, it just goes from one straight into the other. There's a dead body in there that we have not looted, or there's just loot in there that is still remaining. That might be, this is the jail that we were in previously, right? Where we were freeing Margarita and trying to free Sheila. I think we might have just been encumbered at that point in time, dropped a bunch of things from our inventory, and those things may still be there. Let's save now before we actually cross this bridge and head over to the academy. Can we, like, chat with Shawnee? Or she's always going to be
Yes?
a step too far? Oh, no, okay. Yes? Do you have anything else to say? No? Okay, so like I said, we have technically been here once before. But we basically got here, saw these doors, and like, okay, there's nowhere where we can actually go. And we did find that note on the ground, but like I said, we couldn't really do anything with it. I don't know if now that we're here, maybe something will come of that. That was a long time ago. Looks like this is the place where we're headed by these guards.
Halt! By order of King Radovid, no one's allowed inside the academy.
Not even lecturers?
No one means no one.
See, you've become quite the stickler, Norbert. You were much kinder when I was patching you up. By the way, how's your knee?
Fine. Dandy. As if no arrow ever struck it.
Consider yourself
In
a
the
lucky
knee?
man. Because if I'd not decided to operate, you'd be a cripple to the end of your days.
Oh ho ho!
Bruno, eh?
Fighting
Maybe
words.
we ought to let her in. She's a decent lass. Not like to steal nothing.
All right. But alone, which will draw too much attention. I'd rather not get shite from the captain on his account.
Here's what we'll do. I'll go in, then help you sneak in around the back.
Maybe say that a little more quietly.
Don't know, but I'll figure something out. Usually aren't nearly as many guards on the riverside.
Agreed.
Usually there are
All
far
right.
less than 2
Let me
guards
in.
on the riverside. This 2 is just far too many. You're right, Sean. I was wondering if you're actually going to switch roles there and become Shawnee for a little bit, kind of like the series situations, but doesn't seem like it. So let's see. Having completed all... Okay, well, that's not anything new, but enter the academy grounds. Where are you actually directing us? To go around the other side, and then miraculously, once we get there, Shawnee will find a way to get us in? Yes. We go through here? That's locked. We've definitely read this before, but just to remind ourselves, due to the ongoing hostilities, all faculties and departments in the Oxenford Academy have been closed, and the institution's privileges revoked. The student body is hereby conscripted into the Redanian army. I didn't remember they actually conscripted them. With exceptions granted only to the philosophers whose constitutions make them unfit for any practical activity whatsoever. If you're a philosopher, then you have no athletic ability, no physical strength. You are worthless with armor and weapons, so get out. We don't want you. We don't need you. As well as medics and herbalists who are required to report to the field hospital at once. Long live King Radovid. So much for that part. Is there anything over in this corner? Doesn't look like it. But, I mean, I am curious to see if our dotted line here will tell us what technically the best way to loop around might be. I feel like the answer might be, okay, yeah. Just like go down lower here on this island and then swim. Ooh, that was a steep staircase, and for a moment, I did not know if we were just gonna drop down to our death. Yeah, I think we just basically swim this, because this is not so bad. Oh! You mean to tell me that there was a bridge that we did not search under for chests? What is the rule? The rule is that there's always valuable loot under the bridges. Unless there isn't any valuable loot under the bridges. But there's always valuable loot under the bridges, except maybe we did loot this already? Now, this is no longer shiny. And that one isn't either. Okay, so maybe we did remember after all. As is sometimes the case, the game may just have taken a second to realize that we have, in fact, already taken those things. Let's see. We do see some signs of some form of life. Oftentimes, on the edge of the water like this, it would tend to be drowners. I think it is, yeah. I was going to say, given how Shawnee was talking about guards, that was not another question either. Yeah, they're level 34 drowned dead, so definitely meant to be for this quest, right? This part of the DLC. Otherwise, these would be far more powerful than the random drowners and drowned dead that we run into in previous locations. We've been pretty overwhelmed had we tried to do this back when we were initially checking out this area by the Academy. So probably a good thing in that case that we did not head down here. Okay, so that's the spot that Shawnee wants us to get through. Yeah, 0 guards, it would appear. But unless, you know, the drowners took out the guards. Just want to quickly check. This lootable? Doesn't look like it. I think we just head straight in then. Or at least check this out. Hey, Shawnee? We're just
Geralt.
chilling.
Psst. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Grab the line.
Oh, Shawnee.
Where'd you get the rope?
Long story. But we've done well.
Something,
Professor
40 feet of rope.
SHAKESLOCK'S house is at the end of this street. Witch hunters guard the door. Doubt I'll be able to sweet talk them.
Been a huge help already, Shawnee. Thanks.
It was nothing. Really. You'd have done the same for me. If you wish to see me again before I go, I'll be at home. Packing will take some time yet.
All right. Be seeing you.
Okay. Not sure. She was kind of giving us the wink, wink, nudge, nudge, I felt like there. Where she was implying, like, hey, if you want to, you know, have some special time, you should stop by. So that may or may not be something that we look to do. But let's save here. Or whereas if it's just, like, honestly a conversation saying goodbye, then obviously that'd be cool. So I'm seeing the red dots. I assume are probably the witch hunters. And like Shawnee was saying, they probably are not too keen. Those just Redanian guards. No, one of those guys at least is definitely a witch hunter. The one on the right. One on the left looks a little bit more like a Redanian guard, but so do we try to stealth this up? In which case, fitting attire that we did swap over to this stuff again. Or do we just say, whatever. We'll fight whoever we happen to come across and just take him out. Shawnee was giving us that whole speech before where she was like, you know, Geralt, anyone that you hurt, I am going to have to patch up. Then again, the people that we fight, I don't think they're going to get patched up. I think they're probably not going to be heading over to the hospital anytime soon, or at least not for healing. Well, you know, so much for stealth. We were pretty darn far away and those guys could still see us. So, I don't really think that's a thing. Or maybe it's like, you know, if you're crazy careful, it might be possible. But no, we're going into shovel tactics here. Excuse you. Yeah, basically when we're done with them, they're not going to be getting patched up with stitches. They're going to be getting buried with a shovel. Not this one, but some other type of shovel. Not so dissimilar, I suppose. Okay, now that we appear to have gotten rid of those witch hunters, might have a little bit of time here. See if there's anything else interesting for us to stash. Like apples. Apple a day. I was hoping that was going to be some sweet, sweet loots there. Or that being a fancy looking chest. Or this having another chest out here. This is making me a little nervous. A little nervous with this spot here. A little nervous, in case that wasn't clear. That's what I meant to say. I think that's it down here. Harold, please use the ladder. Please, instead of having 98.7% of your body hanging off the edge, please actually use the ladder. Yeah, now the witch hunters actually, they do tend to drop those diamond shackles, which is kind of interesting. Those do break down into good stuffs. That's the last of them that we took out here. Then, in theory, the place we're looking for is right around the corner. Any other friends, or are we in the clear at this stage? We may be in the clear. I mean, at least no red dots anymore. Although, ooh, definitely still more to loot. I'm assuming, like, this is locked, right? Probably all of their doors are going to be locked. But I'm guessing we may not have many other opportunities to come here, or at least not going to have much reason to come back here on later occasions. So while we're here, might as well make the most of it. Now this is quite this series of ladders. Okay, let's just take a second there to look at our marker for the quest. I was like, for a second, I thought maybe it's actually supposed to be up here. I thought, no, surely not. It's awfully elaborate. Now we could potentially see if we could jump across that and make it in if there's like a door there, which there may be. I think there is. Could potentially see if we could break the game like that. But we might find ourselves going in exactly the opposite direction later on if we find ourselves needing to run out of that building. Wouldn't necessarily rule that out. So, noted. Noted. That's the door in question. But before we do head over there, is there anything else here that we want to make sure we get the chance to do first? I don't think so. I think we just looted the last of the lootable stuff and everything else is locked here. So let's do it. Let's drop a quick save.
Locked tight. Need another way in.
Oh.
Leave a window open, maybe.
Well, come to think of it, okay. I think we have our answer. Assume it is this. I mean, this is not... No, this is the building. This is the building in question. Now, it doesn't look like that jump is very far, but this is of course, very high up. And there is that ledge there, which does make me a little bit nervous. It's, if we don't nail this, then we are going to fall to our death. No problem, though. I wasn't worried. What are you talking about? I wasn't worried. Definitely not. Oh, okay. That was dramatic. Also, the entire building might now fall apart. So much for stealth. Hey, guys. How's it going? Anybody home? Just thought I'd stop by real quick. The front door was actually is kind of locked, so I hope you don't mind. I kind of broke in through the window / door up here. Also, if you could maybe like clear out some of the stuff here so that we can more easily rob you, that'd be great. That would definitely make it a little bit easier. Then again, it's probably just like books, and who needs those? So I guess we're fine. Also, is there... Okay, yeah, staircase. Looks ransacked. / deserted.
Silver Lamen. Don't know the sigil. Hasn't been used in ages, looks like.
Okay. A little strange. I think we'll probably, for the most part, as per usual, try to focus on looting the yellow stuff first. But just generic loot, and then finish with the red stuff that is more quest-related. But yeah, it's definitely getting a lot of books here, which is understandable, given how this is a place where... Like, is this technically supposed to be a classroom? Because clearly this is a bed. It's a lot more like some place where someone's living. Now let's check these out.
Julian Alboco's Lesser Key. Tomes about demons, dusty as they come.
Okay. The essence of evil is to cause suffering. Sure. There exist many varieties of suffering. You really gonna describe all the various forms of suffering? from common corporeal pain through the rarefied torment of the psyche to deep wounds dealt to the soul. Whence, then, does evil arise? Does it appear on its own? Or does it only spread when conditions are ripe? And finally, the most important question, how can evil be defeated? Most believe evil has always existed, for none remember a time when it did not. Yet, is that sufficient proof? I dare to doubt it, for I am a scholar, and the essence of scholarship is to question all hypotheses until they have been rigorously proven. The appearance of evil is closely tied to the existence of good, its opposite and antithesis. Good without evil is dimensionless and therefore imperceptible. Evil, then, is an integral part of our lives. Evil wears many faces and appears in many different forms. One of them wears the skin of flesh. You don't say. This evil, incarnated as a man, travels the world, wraps time and space, sowing death and suffering, and occasionally stabbing wooden spoons in people's eye sockets. Such evil is devious and difficult to discern. Unless it's making pacts with people and meeting them at midnight at a crossroads. We usually only note its presence when it is already too late. Like when it's made a mark on your face. In my scholarly wanderings through the myths and legends of a great many cultures, I've come across descriptions of a certain individual which all display a striking similarity. A man who wears blue pants and yellow oranges shirts, bald, and always snickering. I do not mean in terms of this individual's outer appearance or name, okay, fair enough, but his modus operandi. This evil works through trickery, tempting at first with the offer of something seemingly good. The price one must pay for this object of temptation, however, is enormous and non-refundable, and the promised good often contains horrifying hooks and treacherous traps. Beware, then, of any who promise the impossible, for such can only be delivered through the machinations of evil. In case it wasn't blatantly obvious, oh damn. Don't tell anyone. Also this. It's a broken mirror. Remind me what Gaunter's other nickname was? Master of Reflective Surfaces, I believe.
Shattered mirror. No sign of impact. Probably not an accident. Shattered by a sound, maybe. Someone look in it and scream.
Alright, let's see. So, Gaunter. Fancy seeing you again so soon.
Franco, is that you? Leave the bedpan in the usual spot. And take the platter. I shan't be eating today.
What is this?
Professor SHAKESLOCK.
Who the blazes? How'd you get in? Get out. I know nothing. Don't wish to know anything. Understand? No, out!
Not gonna hurt you.
That demon sent you. I'm sure.
Yeah? Care to explain? I mean, technically, Shawnee kinda sent us, but she's no demon. But I mean, we know who you're referring to, of course. You can't fool me. I think we'll go, I mean, we know, but we'll ask, what demon?
What demon?
Feigned ignorance. Please, you know.
We do.
Gaunter O'Dim. Evil incarnate.
His eyes, wow.
He didn't
Yeah?
send me, but he is why I'm here. I'm a witcher.
A mutant. Yeah. Could be.
Is he blind? It looks like he may be blind. That might be, why his eyes look a little bit strange. Or, it just kind of looks like his eyes have this, like, reflective quality. They have this sort of blank, glossy gray appearance, which does remind me of, another thing that we were just talking about very recently, in fact. So, are you a prisoner here? I
Why are
suppose.
there
Could
guards
potentially be the
outside your
case.
door? You a prisoner?
Protective custody. That's the phrase. Protective. When I cannot decide my own fate, cannot breathe without their permission.
What do they want from you?
You may not be aware, but I'm one of the foremost experts on the occult. Living experts, that is. My
Okay.
mentor was the outstanding Professor Lionel Van...
And you're cooperating with the witch hunters now?
Cooperating? As if I had a choice. They're ignorant, but not enough to ignore what I know about magic, witches, sorceresses, what have you. Knowledge they use for barbaric ends. But that's beyond my control.
Okay, so they're using you to get additional information about the sorceresses and other people involved in that type of stuff, because that's very much their thing, hunting those people down. And they put up with you doing it, or at least researching it and whatnot, because the idea there is that, we'll allow one person to do it if it allows us to get many more. So obviously, at the end of the day, this guy's probably still toast. They're going to try to take him out once he's no longer of use to them. But, we did come here to talk. I do suspect that perhaps we will have someone accompanying us in the not-so-distant future, though.
Came here because I need information. Think you might be the only man who has it.
A witcher. Then it follows I needn't fear. I'm hardly a post-conjunction creature.
We'll see about that.
One from you.
I curse the day I first set eyes upon the man.
Yeah.
He appeared at my doorstep one day, offering a sack of gold were I only to find out who Gaunter O'Dim is and how to get rid of him.
Ah, okay, so you'd already done it at that time, but you wanted to get rid of
Such
him.
matters are my speciality. And I needed a coin. I pored over countless tomes, delved into obscure incidents and analysed folk legends. I went so far as to travel to Nilfgaard, the library there, where at last I hit upon the mysterious entity's trail. There are records of encounters dating back thousands of years, in many cultures, under many names, but always as evil incarnate. In this land we call him Gaunter O'Dim, at times Master Mirror, or the Man of Glass.
Uh-huh.
In deciphering the ancient scrawlings, I went blind.
Yep.
I learned a great deal. For example, that he plays with his victims.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thrives on pacts above all else. Seemingly harmless contracts which drive their parties to madness.
Yeah, I mean, he actually, his contract with us was flawed. He, as I was saying before, he did not stipulate the additional component where he was asking us to do additional things after those 3 requests, and that is not legally enforceable in that case. But I suppose if he's evil incarnate, we'll give him a pass. You probably don't want to be lawyering the fine print with evil incarnate. If he feels like you still owe him a favor, probably still need to find a way to make that happen. But I did notice you do currently appear to be standing in a satanic ritual circle right now. Let's start with that.
What's with the surroundings? These runes, what do they mean?
They protect me. Here, evil cannot touch me.
How do you know?
Told me himself.
I have my doubts.
Paid me a visit once. Fascinating meeting that was.
Yeah.
I was blind already, but saw him clearly. He smiled at me. Said he was honoured I'd taken such an interest in him. He wished to thank me and explained he'd taken a similar interest in me.
Oh?
He drew the circle and said I'd be safe within it. His way of repaying me.
Tried to leave it?
If you'd heard how he said it, you'd be as certain as I am what leaving would bring.
I was gonna say, That sounds an awful lot like one of those pacts, one of those deals you were just saying that he likes to make. Ones that sound good on the surface. Hey, in this circle, you'll be safe. But then you don't realize what the other side of that deal implies or entails. So, what else do you know about him? You definitely do seem to be the expert on him. And if nothing else, you are definitely confirming many of the suspicions that we've had over the past, and built over the past, well, basically the entirety of the Hearts of Stone DLC, right?
Know anything else about the man?
Gaunter O'Dim is no man. He is evil. Evil which assumes various forms.
Okay, yep.
Forget about
Also
him
thought that was
or
going to be
die.
You're
the case.
alive.
Alive. Yet I live in constant fear, born of what I've learned about him.
Okay. Yeah, so we were asking ourselves, like, clearly he's not human, because on several occasions he referred to humans and did not really include himself in that description. But didn't really know if he was, like, is he a demon or, like, the devil? And if you're evil incarnate, if we are to take this guy, if we are to believe what this guy is saying here, then, I mean, that basically suggests that he is the devil himself, or something close to it. So... yeah, we know that Olgierd made some kind of deal with him, and we think it was basically, from what we know, or what we think we know, Olgierd, after having lost Iris, and lost Iris's favor, he wanted to get back his fame, fortune, status, and add immortality in on top of that, because why not? In hopes of winning her back, I suppose. In order to make that happen, he somehow found a way to summon Gaunter and begin making that deal. I was thinking that maybe he would have needed to have gotten that information from you in order to summon him in the first place, because, you know, summoning evil incarnate, probably not the most straightforward of things. It's probably a pretty big deal, but it sounds like instead, you know, he'd already done so, and by the time he had Gaunter, that's when he came to you and basically said, I'm desperate, I need some way to get rid of him. So yeah, I think we already know a lot about this pact, but if you could just iron out some of the details and perhaps give us some additional context, then that could be helpful.
Olgierd signed one of these pacts with him.
Brilliant deduction. But have you guessed why?
Oh, and then the exchange was that he basically lost his heart, right?
The influential line.
Yeah.
He must have, if the family of his betrothed accepted him. Yet did you know his fortune soured?
We did.
He himself became an outcast, impoverished. Iris's family, a powerful house, could not accept this, would not marry their daughter to a nobody. Olgierd wished to elope. The further away, the better. Yet Iris refused to cut her family ties.
Quite the predicament.
Indeed. Their luck turned yet darker when a wandering witch mentioned a solution. A man who would grant any wish.
I wonder who that witch was.
His name, Master Mirror.
Who was it who
rest
suggested
follows
that
naturally.
Olgierd go to Master Mirror?
Olgierd and O'Dim. A meeting at a
Do we know that?
crossroads. A wish. A pact,
Crossroads, yeah,
signed
fitting.
blood, and a price to be paid. Olgierd was to sacrifice one he loved. O'Dim delights in difficult choices. He knew Olgierd loved two in this world: his betrothed and his brother, Vladimir.
Huh.
Olgierd chose, and soon thereafter married his beloved.
So
Iris.
presumably sacrificed
His
Olgierd.
fortune restored.
Alright, rather, sacrificed Vladimir. And we obviously knew that Vladimir died before, or died early, because obviously we were hanging out with Vladimir's ghost. But, I'm pretty sure that's the first we're hearing of exactly, well, I mean, Vladimir gave us his explanation as to how he died. Basically said that he was, he got surrounded by a group of bandits, basically 5-1 or something like that, and he couldn't take him. So he died to them and said that, it was like a foolish thing and shouldn't have found himself in that situation to begin with. But didn't really, at the time at least, seem as though there was any quote-unquote foul play in that. Just seemed as though it was Vladimir being silly and, well, given what we know, or being brash and aggressive and getting himself in a situation that he couldn't handle, which, given what we knew about Vladimir, what we learned about him, seemed perfectly possible, perfectly reasonable for him to have done that. But no sign that that happened because of any component of the deal that Olgierd made. So that's, yeah. Did Olgierd kill him? How did that work out exactly?
Olgierd killed his own brother?
No. Deduce, Witcher.
Yeah, always
acts
indirectly.
Directly or indirectly. Olgierd merely signed the blood letter. The next day, his brother was dead.
Yeah, and so somehow Gontar O'Dim used his influence to make sure that would happen. But yeah, I'd have to go back and look at the details as to how exactly that situation played out to see, okay, now where is the part where Master Mirror sort of influenced things to make sure that Vladimir would die. But yeah, how did you learn about the deal more specifically? I suppose you did have a chat with Gontar himself, or him. I don't know how to refer to Gontar now that we know Gontar is technically not a human, but I suppose Gontar could have told you this, but I kind of doubt that Olgierd was. Well, I mean, I suppose you do have a history with Olgierd as well. I was going to say that he probably would not be willing to share this information with you either. But if he was relying on you to give him information to get rid of Gontar, then maybe.
Olgierd tell you all that?
He had to.
Yeah.
How else was I to diagnose his case?
Yeah.
Make it sound like an illness.
It is worse. Many illnesses are treatable.
Not this one, though.
Play with evil. Medicine can be much harder to find.
Okay. So, Olgierd wanted to break the pact. I mean, we know that he didn't want to pay up. But, I mean, he has already paid in the form of Vladimir's life. Vladimir, like we said, is dead. So he's done that. But then, like I said, there's the whole question of, well then, why do we need to do 3 favors for Olgierd? And then Olgierd apparently needed to, or Gontar needed to fulfill those wishes before Olgierd could actually fully pay his debt, but then, like, he already did that, though. So, like, there's 2 deals here. There's one for the immortality, fame, fortune, and Gontar gave that in exchange for Vladimir's life. Then, on the other hand, now Olgierd, he's getting 3 wishes, but then is this the part where we heard about him basically losing his heart? Getting a quote-unquote heart of stone? Maybe. Maybe that's it, and so now Olgierd wants to try to find a way to break this pact? I mean, of course, the reasoning for Olgierd doing this was that he wanted to be, initially, with Iris, but now after everything that happened in the Painted World, Iris is dead. I mean, that was outside of the Painted World, technically. But then inside the Painted World, when we spoke to Iris's ghost, Iris's ghost is, or soul or whatever, is also leaving. So there's not really anything for Olgierd to return to, or at least, you know, the original reason for him making this pact. It's no longer really, or, well, you can't benefit from that, which I suppose is probably, in many ways, sort of the whole idea behind what Gontar did. But, let's see.
Why was Olgierd out to get rid of O'Dim? He'd gotten what he wanted.
had he? His heart had turned cold as ice. His feelings for his wife, for whom he'd sacrificed his brother, had withered. He'd lost all he loved. Had he wanted any of this? No. Odim grants what you wish, not what you want. All who sign a pact learn the difference and die by it.
All? No way to get rid of him?
Kill him, you mean? Kill evil? No.
Easier said
The
than
annals
done.
tell of a man who dissolved his pact by defeating Odim at his own game.
Oh, nifty.
Odim wields contracts, word traps, duels of wits. Challenge him to such a duel. He'll agree, and can be beaten. But remember, there is only ever one stake. The sole thing he truly desires. Human souls.
Okay, well, I mean, I suppose can't really be terribly surprised about that, but yeah, that is a steep price to pay. By the way, just happen to know any way to get rid of this like spark we got on the side of our face here? Kind of messing with our vibe right now. Got this cool jacket, outfit going with the glasses too, and it's just really messing with the aesthetic.
Odim left a mark on my face. Any way to get it off?
A mark? No mention in the tomes. Strange. Unless it will disappear once your pact is fulfilled.
If I challenge him, end the pact that way, will it go away?
That I do not know. The one man who succeeded bore no mark.
Okay. Do you care to tell us who that one person who succeeded was? That seems like that'd be kind of good information to have right about now. But, maybe not. And I suppose, you know, you have given us, perhaps, the keys to the kingdom here. Telling us a way in which to defeat Gaunter. Beat him at his own game, a game of wits. And how exactly that plays out, how we make that happen is, well, not entirely sure. Of course, we know the stakes are going to be tremendously high. But, I mean, you say he can be beaten at it, but at the same time, like, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. He is a clever, clever dude.
Thanks. Helped me a lot.
Good. Very good. Ah, to feel useful after so many years locked up, living in fear. Why, it's pleasant.
I mean, this guy is probably still going to be dead. Right? And now he steps inside the circle, and now he's going to die. Yep. Yep. Saw that one coming. Gaunter, at the end of the day, was going to have his way.